So let's start with the video today. Let's start with the class today. And okay, can we submit the project day after tomorrow also, same day? I'll clarify some of the doubts first of all. You can submit that anytime. You have 21 days plus 3 days as your grace period. Even after the classes are done, then also you can submit the project. That's absolutely okay. You have 3 plus more days. But my suggestion was that you should do it every possible day so that you don't miss out anything. Okay. Now, today I'm trying to follow a different convention. That is, I'll try to write code as much as possible because yesterday it was very lengthy data set. That is the reason we had to do the theoretical portion more, but I'll try to provide the calculative portion today. And yeah, I have already the written code here, so I'll just try to write and summarize you as much as possible. So let me share my screen first. Yeah, and what I'll do is I will spotlight myself for everyone. Acha, did you guys get the last data set as well? Last notebook? Did you download that from the resources? Yes? Okay. Just a quick revision. I will show you where it is. This is your batch page. One second, let me share my screen. This is your batch page. Just a second. So, yeah, this is your batch page. If you go to the live tab, you'll see today's class is live. And in the upcoming section, if you scroll down, you're going to see the archive section. This is where the resources is present. If you click on that, you can just click on download and you'll be able to download the entire notebook. Clear? Okay. Now, day two. Right? And in today's data set, we are again going to talk about EDA. Guy Maths has a question. Just type a question. I'll not turn on the mics. Google Form, again, let's do one thing. Towards the end of today's session, we can plan out the Q&As. In case you have any questions, you can ask me that towards the end. Okay. Okay, perfect. Let's start, shall we? What is today's major project? Again, it's a EDA data set. Why am I focusing on EDA so much? Because EDA is going to play an essential role when we move to machine learning and when you further move into deep learning and neural networks and things like that. If the data is not clean, okay, if the data is not clean, if it is not organized, then you're going to face problems when your model is not able to understand things and things like these are going to happen. Perfect. Quickly give me, I did not get, we'll talk about the attendance and all that sort. Okay. Quickly tell me what was EDA. Just a quick recap of what we did. It's not going to affect. Orientation is not going to affect. Okay. Orientation, attendance is not going to affect. What was EDA? What was exploratory data analysis? Understanding the data, right? Understanding the properties, analyzing the data, drawing insights. Okay. Now I'm sure after yesterday's class, you remember the tools and techniques that we did. I'll not apply all the tools and techniques. Rather, what I'll want from today's data point is the data set today that we're using is comparatively easier data set. My point of taking this easier data set was so that we can follow and understand few more tips and tricks that we did not focus on yesterday's data set. And I want you to analyze this on a better note. So I will clean the data set with methodologies that we followed, and then I will answer the questions that a business analyst is supposedly questioned, things like these. There would be questions in which you have to give the solution. With Studio, I'm coding, I'm using Google Colab, right? So we'll be solving questions that businesses ask as I'll disable the chats. I will disable just 2 seconds more. Okay. So the thing today that we're discussing is that we are going to focus on the business point of view. Business is going to ask you questions, how you should tackle those questions, and towards the end, I will give you certain questions that you'll have to solve on your own. Once you solve that, that would be marked as a solution. So is the agenda for today's session is clear? And also have a screen right next to me, so could be I'll tilt my views for that. Perfect. Everything clear up till this point? Clear. Perfect. Now what I'll do is, because there was lag for because of audio video starting also, so I'm turning off your videos because some people are going to have that lag. Okay. So I've disabled the chats. Repeat the agenda. The agenda for today is, again, we're going to do exploratory data analysis. In today's session, we'll focus more on the tools and techniques that we did not focus on yesterday. Today, the data set is more of like the practical orientation of the things. So I'll try to write code as much as possible. In the meanwhile, if you want, you can write with me, but try to understand things as well from the point of view I'm trying to explain. And one more thing, that the submission for today's session would be something that we'll be doing certain EDA, we'll be doing some certain cleaning in the data set. Towards the end, I will give you, we will solve business problems. Okay, we will be given questions and we'll try to solve the business aspect of that. And once we solve that, then I'll provide you certain questions that you have to solve on your own and submit that to me. Clear? So in today's data set, we're going to work on Netflix data set. Okay. I will quickly, what I'll do is, I will open up the GitHub, rather not this GitHub. 1 second. Let me take the link for that. 1 second. This is the link. Copy and paste. This within this data set, if you go towards the end, you're going to find Netflix titles. Okay. I'll copy this and I will share that in the chat. This is the GitHub link that we have for the data sets. Again, what I'll do is I will clone the entire node, clone this entire repository, and then I'll work on that. Otherwise, if you want, what you can do is you can directly load this data set. You can directly open up Netflix titles, download this file, and then just go to this collab in the files, click on upload, and just click on whatever you want to upload, and it would be uploaded here. Okay, so supposedly I am opening up, I can open up anything and it would be represented here. But the command that I'm going to use, I'm going to clone up the entire thing. So again, your choice. The first step again for any problem statement is that, again, if you have a lot of problems, or if you guys are having facing a lot of problems, just raise your hands. A lot of people raise your hands, so it would be clear to me that yeah, you're facing some technical issues, at least only the technical issues. Okay. So first I'll be importing the necessary libraries, importing pandas as PD, okay, numpy as np. And in yesterday's session, we talked about these libraries. Again, if you have any problem in these libraries, just go to the just go to the documentation of that. And then I will use matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. Clear? Then I'll use cbond as SNS, right? Then further, I will use from word cloud. I'll tell you what is word cloud today. Import word cloud. Okay, you must be wondering what is word cloud. I will talk about that. Okay, and then I will set the, again, the default style. What is this default style? Again, it is nothing, it's just an aesthetic way of like designing the plain graphics. So it is dark grid. Okay, I'll try to write this. First of all, we imported the necessary libraries that were pandas, Python, NumPy, and things like that. Next, I will clone the repository. So I will write git clone and I will just write the link. And this is something that we did yesterday. Okay. One second, I will go out. I will just grab the link. I will remove this and run this. This should run. Right. Once it has done that, you will see that now the entire thing is present here. If you scroll down under data sets, you have a lot of data sets. And Netflix titles is the one that we're going to need. So I will just copy the path. I will write Netflix df is equal to pd dot read csv, and within that I will provide the link. Clear? And then I can print the first head. I can print the head of that. So Netflix df dot head. Head gives you the first top five values. Tail give you the bottom five values. Let's see what are the values that we have in this data set. You have show ID. You have show ID. What is the show ID? S1, S2, S3, S4, S5. Okay. We'll see what that is. What is this type? So you have TV shows, you have movies. What else? I see majorly TV shows and movies. Right. Then what else? I have directors, which are some of the directors' name. Pretty okay. There are missing values here. Then I have cast. So what is the cast? What are the people who are appearing in this movie? And cast is separated by commas. Yes, you guys are facing any problems? Any problems up till this point? Yes, no, no problems. Okay. Okay. So the director is separated with commas. You have country, that is Brazil. Sorry, you have different countries. You have the date added. So in what date the movie was added to Netflix, right? All those things are added here. What else? What is the release year? So 2020, 2016, 2018, 2020. And what are the ratings? Now I'm sure you know about these ratings. TVMAs, so it's like for adults, right? And then you have something known as R rated, right? PG-13. So you should know a little bit about ratings. Seasons, you have four seasons, 93 minutes. Some of them are in minutes, some of them are in seasons. So we need to work on a common ground to fix all that things, right? What next? Listed in. When was it listed? It was listed in what genre? So basically, it's talking about horror movies, international movies. These are the genres that it is dealing with. And in the description, it has provided me the entire summary for this entire thing, right? Next, let's check about what kind of data set it is. First, let's check how much the data is. So I'll write df.shape. I'm sure you remember these commands. Sorry, it's a basic problem that you feel. Netflix DF, so it has 7,700 records, 7,700 rows, and 12 columns. So all these are the 12 columns that I need to work on. Clear? Again, what is the next step? I need to get a information summary thing. And don't worry, I already have a notebook prepared in that, which is properly curated with all the everything written in a perfect manner. So what is this? What is this? What is this? And everything is written perfectly. Don't worry. This is just a dummy notebook you're using, and I have a notebook like this, which is properly documented with things. Okay, so don't need to worry about the documentation of those portions. Next, I'll use Netflix df dot info. Info will give me a lot of idea what are the things that we have. So I have show ID, which has initially there were 7, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7 entries, 7, 7, 8, 7, 7, 7, 8, 7, right? For directors, you have less entries. For cast, you also have less entries. So there are missing values here. For country, missing values. For date added, there is also missing values. There are missing values in this. And we need to work on that. You can see a lot of them are in object type. Only release year is in integer type, right? So if you do df, or rather Netflix df dot describe, if you remember, okay, if I run this, it is going to do the aggregate of this entire thing, right? It is going to do the aggregate for year, release year, mean, standard deviation, all these things. What I mentioned was that it gives precedence to what? Your description gives precedence to first your integer columns. If you have any integer columns, then it is going to do the statistical analysis for that. If it does not have any column like that, what it does is it then focuses on the frequency, the top end, things like these in your data set. So try using a data set that has all the object type and then run this describe function. You'll see totally different functionality over that. Clear? Next, what is the interpretation? I will just copy paste the interpretation here. So this is the interpretation that we have. We have around 7787 entries. What is the key problem we have? Okay. The key problem is the data set added is of string type, not a data time format. So the date object that we have, this is object type. And what is the increase in date? It's something like this. So I cannot perform any operation like in which month was it the highest, which day it was the highest, right? Because it is in string like format. So I need to work on fixing that first of all. What else? Uh, okay, so I have, this is just for documentation. So I have something, a key problem was this, we cannot perform time series analysis. Then you have missing values in both director, cast, and things like these. So we need to fix all those things. Clear? Next is focusing on data cleaning and transformation. I will drop that here. Data cleaning and transformation. What is the next step? Cleaning and transformation. And what are the steps that we're going to employ here? So the steps that we are going to employ is this. What should I do in this data set? Right? The problem would be this, that what should I do here? So what is happening is data is not in our ideal format. There is strings and there is something known as years, which is again not presented, month, which is not presented. So we need to convert this into a proper data time. Dot date time is going to help you, and as type is going to help you to change the type, right? So we did as type. Remember what as type did was it did the conversion of that certain value. So if it is an class, you can convert that to string class. If it is in string class, you can convert that to integer class and things like these, provided in the combination is possible, uh, the value change is possible. Then you have PD to date time. Dot date time, it will convert that to a date time format series. Okay. Now, for the null values, how are you going to tackle the null values? Let's first check how many null values there are. So I will write Netflix df dot is null. What is null going to do? It's null is going to run in the entire data set and write true and false. True where the values are empty, right? And false for where the value are like filled. Then I will write dot sum. It will sum up the entire rows and everything, right? So you can see that show id is filled, type is filled, director title is filled. Your director is having missing values, right? And the missing values are going to be nan values, right? We saw in the original data set that there were nan values, so it is empty values. What else? Cast, there is empty values. Countries, there are empty values. And rating also has empty values. How are we going to fill that? Okay, there's something known as drop na for dropping the data set. Like you use is, like I'm writing is null, it is going to find null values. Dot is na is going to help you to find if there are null values. Dot drop na is going to drop those unnecessary null values. There are some places in which I can drop, like I can drop in rating, that's absolutely okay. But director I cannot drop because the data set itself is 7,700 something. If I drop the directors, it will remove around 2,200. So that's like how much? One third of the data set, around roughly one third of the data set is getting removed. So I cannot remove that. I'll have to impute some values in that. What value should I impute? That is what we are going to use. Many times, what is we are going to use is we're going to fill that with a placeholder. So if I see the director section, or rather what I'll do is after this, let's write df dot head, sorry, Netflix df Just keep forgetting that. Netflix.df, and if I take the head as 2, you can see that some places the director is missing, right? There is non values. How should I fill that if I want to fill? There were certain approaches that we did yesterday. We talked about we can fill that with median, we can fill that with mean, we can fill that with mode. I'm sure you remember that. What approach should I follow here? I, I mean, if people have already seen the answers, because I just scrolled a little bit, and the answer is written clearly here, right? So one approach is I can fill the median, but it's not a numerical value. Is it a categorical column? Yeah, there are categories. Each name has different, it's considered as a category. Like there's a director A, there's a director B, there's a director C. So there are three different directors. So it's a categorical thing. But the problem is there are a large number of directors. There are like 700 or 900 or 1200 or around 3400 directors. So I cannot consider this as categories because there are a lot of categories to deal with. Then, should I categorize this as the numerical column? No, I cannot, because there is no numerical entry in this. Then what should I do? For in this data set, what I can work on is, I don't know the director's name, as simple as that. Rather, what I'll do is I will just fill that with unknown column, like something known as unknown. I will fill, instead of nan or empty blank in that space, I will write unknown. Like I don't know what's the director's name. As simple as that. Clear? In this, I can fill that with empty. What about others? What about in the cast? Where is the cast? Sometimes there is problem in the cast as well. So the cast is also having a lot of problems. Cast is, again, you can consider this to be a categorical column. Again, I can write unknown because I don't know the cast. Many a times I don't know the cast. Right? Simple as. So I can deal with director and cast by filling the null values with the word unknown. Clear? Clear till this point? Okay. Right. So let's work, or let's write a code for the same. How are we going to do that? What I'm going to do is I will write Netflix df, and then I'm going to choose what? Director? Director, is it right? Yeah, director. Netflix df, and I'll write director, and I will fill that with Netflix df of director. What I'm doing is I'm writing director dot fill na. Fill na is used to fill the null values with whatever value is just stating. I will state that to be U K U N K N O W N. So unknown, right? And similarly, I can fill that for the cast as well. So I can write Netflix df of cast is equal to Netflix df of cast dot fill na, and I will fill that with UKUNKNOWN. Right? I can fill that with unknown. Simple as that. So I filled director, I filled cast. Let's run that. No worries up to this point. Again, let's run df Netflix df and check if I am done. Dot fill in sorry, dot is null dot sum. Let's run that. So you can see that I did fill director, I did fill cast. Next, I have country, I have date added, release year, and I have basically two, three columns to deal with. Right. First column is deal, filled missing values, filled missing values. Clear? Next step. Again, I'm going to work on missing values. What next? Country. How should I deal with country? Let's see first of all the entries in country. I hope it's COUNTRY dot head, but something like this. Country, country, Netflix TF. So these are the countries that I have. I have Brazil, I have Mexico, Singapore, UK, things like these. So what should I work on here? How can I fill that? How should I fill these values again? I can Fill that with the mode value. Let's check the mode value for the same. Again, why? Because it's a categorical column. I know there are a lot of countries, but again, it is limited to certain values. Like you can have 40 countries, 50 countries, at max 60 countries. Compared to 1200 or 1500, could be 3500 entries, it is a comparatively shorter thing, and it can be categorized. So I'm considering this to be a categorical column, and I will fill that with the mode value, like I mentioned in yesterday's session, right? So let's work on that. So DF, Netflix DF, I am absolutely again and again going to do make the same errors. So just bear with me on that, right? So Netflix DF, let's check the mode as well first. Mode of country. I will take a new column, and that I will write Netflix DF of country dot mode. So if you write mode, and let's print that value as well. This is the mode that we work on, right? This is in data frame format right now. So I will write something like this. Now I will get an entry. So it is United State. United State is the one that is most occurring. So simple. I will fill that value. DF of rather Netflix DF of country is equal to Netflix DF country dot fill NA with what? Mode of country. So I did fill one more column, right? Again, let's check this entire thing. So we dealt with a lot of things. We deal with show ID, everything is done. Country is also done. And now I have to work on date added, rating. That's it. Two more columns I need to work on. So what should I do now? Date added. Nothing else. Right. How should I work on date added? How should I work on date added? I mean, if I check the date added, what is going to happen? There are 10 entries, right? There are 10 entries. And what about rating? There are 7 entries. So if I remove that, I mean, compared to a 7,000, 8,000 data set, 10 value is not going to harm it, because I cannot fill that with the mode values. Again, the same problem is going to happen, right? So let's work on our way to just remove these values, as simple as that. Okay, as simple as that. Let's remove them. So I will write Netflix DF and dot drop NA. I will show you a different approach now. Okay, dot drop NA. And since you're dropping a lot of things, I will write subset is equal to, and in this I'm going to mention what all columns I'm going to remove. So I'll write date, date added. What is it? Yeah, so I'll copy this date added. I will write using comma rating. Right. So date added and rating is done. And what I will use is I will write in place INPLAC in place is equal to true. Huh? What is this in place going to do? In place, like I'm writing Netflix DF, or I'm writing things like this. Netflix dataset is equal to this. So whatever calculation is going on this, it will reflect that to Netflix DF. Rather than that, I can just write in place is equal to true. So it will affect that in the original data set, right? I don't have to write df of this is equal to this. Rather, I can use in place is equal to true, and it will do all that thing for me, right? As simple as that. So I will write in place is equal to true, and it will drop those values for me. Let's run that. Now the data set should be cleaned. There are no more null values, so you have 0 0 0, everything is 0. So the column is all the data set, the null values are clean now. Okay, but I need to work on one thing, that was what was it? Date added. Date added column has, let's see what the kind of entries this has. Netflix df of date added, it has entries like this. I need to convert this to a date time format so that I can work on that. How will I do that? Let's see. I will write, as I mentioned, PD. So I'll call pandas, and then I will write to date time. Okay. Then it will ask me what exactly do you want to change to date time format. So I will write Netflix DF of Netflix DF of what? Date added, right? And then what I want is, what do I want next? I will change the format of it. What is this format column? Let me write that format is mixed. It just symbolizes them that okay, there were some mixed values in this, like there are in different time formats, so you can just change that accordingly. And then I'm writing day first is equal to true. So the day column is imputed, or rather I will just use false in this case. So that the day is not written in the first way. Okay. And for others who are facing certain problems, I have written the code for this. So in case you feel any problems, you can check what I have written here. Okay. So I will paste that here. This format is an argument that tells Panda to infer the date automatically. This will helpful when the data string have like different format. Sometimes it is written 1 1st August, sometimes it's written 1 comma August, sometimes it is 1 dash August. So it will automatically understand that what are the data points here. Yeah, that is all. So and then it will be unambiguous, so it will try to write first. This is day first is pretty clear on its own. Okay. Now let's check what kind of column this looks like. Netflix DF of date added. Let's run that. This is how the columns look like. This is now this is in date time format, and the day is not the first. If I have converted day first to true, it would have been day, month, and year. Now it is year, month, and day. Why are we doing that? We'll understand that in the further questions that when we are doing that. Clear? So I did do something like that. Now, from this itself, let's extract year, right? Let's extract year, let's extract month, because those are going to be helpful to us, right? Day is not going to be that helpful, that on what day most number of movies were added, that it can tell me a day like 17. Then what? I don't know which month, things like that. So day is not a good parameter, rather year and month are good parameters. So I'll just work on that. Okay. Next, how will I extract that? I will create new columns. I'll write Netflix or DF year added. And what I'm going to do is I'm creating a new column here. So in the Netflix data frame, I have originally had 12 columns. I will add a 13th column and I will add a 14th column. How do you add a new column? Just check with the code. So I have called Netflix year added is not mentioned, but since I wrote it like this, now a new column has been created. And I will write Netflix DF, and then what? Date added, and then I will pull off year. Okay. So if you write .dt, because this is in date time format, this is a command of date time, and dot year. If you take this, then the year column is separated. Okay. If you run this, and now if you write Netflix df dot head, you will see that you have just extracted year from that. Okay. Another way of doing that would be to use str.split on the basis of colon, then pick up one. That is also okay. But if you use this date time format, it would be much more easier, because these are the inbuilt functions that you have, .dt, dot things like these. Yeah? Next. Similarly, what I can do is I can pull off month as well. Year added, month added. Okay. Dot month. Clear? Now, through this, if I run that, and again, let's check if the month is clearly extracted or not. You can see that if you scroll a little bit, you'll see months is also added. So 8th month, 12th month, it is written in that format. Yeah. Now, let's see if we are clearly done with the things or not. Okay. So I will just copy paste this entire code. Let's verify if our cleaning is done or not. So the missing values after cleaning, 0. Data type formation, so it is in mostly is in data time format. This is in date time format, and majorly everything is in integer time format. Also, these are in integer time format because again it will require you to have an integer time format. Clear? Next step in our journey would be actually perform EDA. Okay. How will I perform EDA? Now I will give you certain questions that we need to work to clean our data points, or rather to explore this data. So whenever I'm taking classes in the offline batches as well, I tell you this methodology to follow. First of all, clean the data. That is, you talk about duplicate values, you talk about checking the null values, you talk about things like these, basically info, describe, understanding the data points, things like these. And once you do that, then you further move to the exploratory data analysis. One way is to extensively get into the exploratory data analysis, going each and every column. There's also univariate analysis that you do. When you talk about each and every column, you try to fix each and every column. Before that, there's one more method that you can do is what you can do is you can just uh, go for questions, certain questions that are going to help you understand the data set in a much more better manner. And like this question that I first took, that is, what is the distribution of the content type? I have similar question like these. Okay, we're going to solve certain questions, then we're going to perform a multivariate analysis, and we'll be done with this data point. Then I will give you these kind of four more questions for you to solve as an assignment, and that would be your submission for today. Clear? Let's work on our way to. Any doubts up to this point? I'm opening up the mic. Okay, I'm opening up your chats for 1 or 2 minutes. In case you have any doubts, just point it. Otherwise, no questions. Code I will share towards the end. No? Today's class is very nice. Okay. So yesterday what was happening is, again, I had to do that so that you can extensively understand the things. But today we are going to do, and from now onwards we're going to do in this format. In place, the meaning of in place is to work and understand, like, if you just say, if you write df, write df of some column is equal to df of this column dot this. If you simply write df of this dot is na dot fill na, it will do that in a temporary basis. But if you write in place, it will do that to the original data set. In place is going to help you with that. I was dropping the roses, Rushil. If you have released year, why add years added column? I had the release year, but in which year was it added? Like, what was the date the movie was added? I had release year. In which release year was it added? Like, suppose it released in 2002. That's one thing. But in which year was it added to the Netflix? That is what this next column is talking about. I feel confident. Thank you. The GitHub part, please explain. I will explain that word then. I'm enjoying the lessons very much. Thank you. Recap, please. 2 minute internet died. Okay, can someone recap it? Can someone quickly try recap it? Can you guys quickly recap? Just type whatever happened today. Submit URL, everything will be done towards the end. Okay. I won't share the code. No, I will not share the code right now because you don't need to work on the code right now. You can just try to be with me in the session, and then after that you can run that. Okay. Right. So majorly, why did I use mode in the country? Because comparatively you have less countries, and that's a viable option, right? I cannot, it will not skew the data points that much because it's just 79 entries, right? Had it been 200 or 300 entries, then I would have followed a different methodology. Okay. So do we have to paste URL for collab submission? Yeah, you can paste the URL. I'll talk about the submission criteria towards the end. Okay. Okay. So I'm turning on the chats. I cannot brief from the start. No, you should be present in the class. I cannot brief from the start because it will take a lot of problem. What I'll do is comparatively the data set would be done today in an early manner, and after that I can recap this. Okay. So how will I use how again? Let's get back to the code now. Okay. I have disabled the chats. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So how will I find the distribution of this content type? Okay. Again, from here onwards, I'm going to start with the charts and graphs. So how will I use that? I will use a pie chart here. How do you create a pie chart? I will write dot figure. Okay. In the figure plt dot figure, I will demonstrate the fig size. What is this fig size? Fig size talks about the figure size. What is the size? What should be the length? What should be the width? So I'm using 8 comma 6. That's a standard format if you're using a pie chart. Okay. Next, I have created the figure. Then I will use type counts. I am creating a variable as type counts. And in this, I will write Netflix TF. I'll explain what is happening. In that, I will take type. Okay. What is the content type it's asking about, right? So I need to find the types that you have and I want the value count. If I use dot value counts, what is going to happen? Let's print that first to see what is happening. So if I write type counts, you'll see that these are the counts that I have. Movies for this, TV shows for this. So I have only two categories here. And these two categories would be used in the pie chart. Okay. I've stored those values in this type count. Then I will write plt dot py. And okay, I'm explaining one of the charts. Then I will mostly copy paste the charts and I'll explain you what difference I did in that. Okay. In that I will write type. You have to mention, sorry, first of all you have to mention which data points it takes. So the data point it's taken from type counts. What is the next step? I am writing labels. So I'll take labels is equal to again type count. These are going to provide me the labels. Dot index. Why I'm writing dot index? Dot index has these are the index. Movies and TV show are the index, and these are the values associated. So if I write dot index, it will take this value. Okay. Dot index. Then it is asking me, there is another column that is PCT. What it does is it asks for how many decimal values you require. I require only one decimal point. So I will write it in this format. Percentage 1.1 percentage. It means F percentage. Why am I writing in this format? This is how it should be written. Okay. We can just check the documentation for how things are being written. Then there's another parameter that you can fill, that is uh, start angle. Start angle talks about what should be the angle in the initial. So I'm writing 140 and it would be clearer. I'm writing 140. Then it takes an argument like colors. In that you can mention what all colors you want for two different charts, two different colors. I will just copy paste these colors from here. Okay. These are the color formats pies that I'm taking. What is happening? What is the problem here? Okay, I'm not turning this off. Okay. So this is how you created the pie chart. You write dot title. What is title going to do? Title is going to just give you the title for the entire thing. So what is the title? Again, I will copy the title and then I am going to write plt dot. You can mention y label, things like these. What is y label? So in the y portion of the axis, what you're going to write? Nothing if you don't want to write anything. And then plt dot show. If you don't write, it's going to give a warning. But yeah, plt dot show is written to show the entire chart. If you don't, then also it's going to print that, but it is a way of doing that. So right now you can see that the color pattern is not accurate. I should have used a different color pattern, but okay. This is movies and these are the TV shows. The 69.1% is movies and 30.9% is TV shows. Yeah, so this is a clear distinction between them. If you are asked a question, if you are asked a question like this, that if you're asked a question like this, that what should be the distribution of the content type or things like these, right? Always try to give a numerical answer, and if possible give a chart as well, because you as a data analyst or as a business analyst, you should know how to demonstrate your findings, right? I can, with the numerical columns, I can say that movies are 500 and TV shows are 300, but someone with a chart with will be able to explain the things in a much more better manner. Towards the end, you have to talk with the stakeholders. You also have to display your findings and why you did that and things like these. So charts and graphs are going to be very helpful. Clear? Okay. Let's move on further. So this is the first question. What was that distribution? Let's move on to the next question. And what is the insights? I will copy paste the insights as well because those are fun. The Netflix data set is dominated by movies. Around 70% is movies and rest is TV shows. Okay. Next. What is the next question that you have? So this is the next question that you have. How has content been added over the years? Here again, I need to present a graph chart so that I can talk about how the content is being added. And the content is bifurcated in two parts. One is movies and one is TV shows. So I need to show both of them. That over the year I can see that okay, around 2006 movies were added, and then around 2006 2007 TV shows were added in a point wise format so that it looks better for me. What I'll use is there's something known as a line plot, line chart, right? So I'll use a line chart which will able to explain the thing in a much more better manner. Let's see and let's write that. Okay, how has the content been added over the year? So first of all, I need to know how the content has been added over the year. I will create a new column, content added over time. In this, I'm going to store the values, and I'll show you how the values look like. So what I'll write is I will write Netflix DF and I will use group by. Now what is group by? Group bys are used to group the things together. It will create a class, and for each class how many entries. Suppose in the movies you have a movie known as Tare Zameen Pe, right? So how many entries for Tare Zameen Pe, right? Supposedly there are three entries, one for English, one for Hindi, one for Urdu. So it will write Tare Zameen Pe 3, things like these. So all the movies are bifurcated into classes, and corresponding the number of entries for this is added next to it. That is a group by. I will use two things for that. I want the year added. Yeah. So I'll show you one more thing. In case you don't remember the column name, just write df dot column, and it will show you its columns dot columns. It will show you all. It will tell you all the columns. So I have year added. Where is it? Yeah, I will just copy paste year added, and then I need one more thing, that is month. What next I want? I need year added, and I want type as well. Why do I want that? I'll show you with the solution. Okay, so year added and type. Okay, then what I'll do is I will use something known as dot size. It will enunciate the size of the entire thing, so compute the entire group size, and everything is mentioned here. You can read through that. I will show you. So I will use something known as unstack. What it is going to do, again, I'll show you, and then I will write fill NA with 0. And then let me print this so that I can talk about what are these values. This is how the values are being mentioned. So what I've done is I have used group by. So for each class it has bifurcated. So for each year it has bifurcated. And further, the bifurcation I have divided into two parts. One is for movies, one is for TV shows. Right? So it is telling me for 2008 how many movies were added or how many TV shows were added. Things like these. So around 2016, 256 movies were added, and around 184 TV shows were added. Dot size is going to pick the size. Unstack is going to if I have an example here, it will show you unstack. Okay, no. So unstack will try to like change this data frame into a format so that we can understand each and every value. Many a times what is happening, you're going to have null values, because some points you have values like 0 0, right? For that point I'm filling 0. Now you must be wondering, if I'm filling 0, how is 0.0 being written? Why is it in float type format? It is in float type format because all the other entries are in float type format. That is the reason it has also converted this to a float type format. Okay, so I have the entire data thing now. What next? What next is I need to solve for the entries. Again, I will use plt dot figure. I will copy the things now. I already have everything, so I'll use plt dot figure. It will tell me the figure size, and then uh, okay, I will use content added over time dot plot. This is again a technique. You can directly write dot plot, and then you mention what kind of plot you want. So I want a line plot, and then what do I want as a marker? Okay. Now what is a marker? I'll show you what is a marker. We'll talk about. Then is fig size. Okay, what is the figure size? 14 comma 8, because I mentioned that taken that above. Why am I again adding that? I will mention that. And similarly, I will copy the other things. So I have taken the title, that is content added over the years. I have taken the X label as year added, Y label as the number of title added. Legend, what is legend? I will talk about. What is grid? I'll talk about, and then I'll use plt.show. Let's see how the entries are looking like. So how the entry is looking like, this is how the chart is looking like. So there are two things. Okay, you can see these are the markers. The marker is O, so it is pointing with an O kind of thing. And I have used the legend. What is the legend? The content type. So this is the title of the legend. Content type, this is your legend, and it has bifurcated this into two parts. And what is grid is equal to 2? This is the gridding that it has added. Why? So that you can read the data points in a much more better manner. I can see that blue is for movies and orange is for TV shows. I can see that movies and TV shows were added and majorly piked around the year 2018, right? 2019, in fact, was the most number of movies were added. And I can also see that the data set is from 2008 to 2021 or something like that, right? That is how the data is, like, for how many years? 20, 30 years, 20, 21 years, this data set is. And this is how the bifurcation is. So movies are more and TV shows are less. But around 2018-19, both movies and TV show did peak. So I think that was the time when most of the Netflix occupied a lot of movies and Netflix occupied a lot of TV shows. Right, that is what was happening. Okay, give me one second. I think this drink water. Until that, check this chart once again. Right, so this is how you're going to solve these questions. Okay, next. So with this, I have added the chart, and what is the insight? Let's check the insight as well. What am I doing this? This is just the markdown format for in a much more better manner you understand that. For all the questions, try to give a solution. First of all, numerical solution, then prepare a chart, then further write an insight. That is how you elaborate an answer. And that is how you solve an answer as a data analyst and as a business analyst. Okay, next. So insight is, by separating movies, we can see that both grew significantly. The movies escalated much more faster, peaked around 2019. Growth is already steady. This appears to a slow. Content added 2021. Yeah, we can see that around 2021 the content added was very dipped, and this was why, because pandemic happened. Right, so I can make my suggestions over that. That okay, because of the pandemic, there was a there was a dip in this data set, right? And since the data set is incomplete after that, we don't know about the current time. But yeah, that is how the data set is looking like. Okay, so let's talk about the next question, and that is, mhm, what is the most popular genre? Let's check the genres. Netflix df dot head, I will write only two entries because I want to check what kind of genre. Is there any column for genre? No, but there is something known as listed in, right? And using listed in, it I can consider this to be a genre. It is comma separated, so I need to work on that. What else? I will write certain theoretical concept here, what we need to follow, and what we need to, and what exactly we're going to work on now. This is a theoretical concept. So list in, this is the data set, this is the data point that we have. Again, I'll use Netflix DF so that I can show you what I am talking about. So this is the entries. Okay, let's read that and understand. So I can see listed in column contains strings in multiple genres, comma separated. Yeah, they are comma separated. To analyze, we need to transform the data. There are two techniques on transforming. One, I can split them using comma. So comma is the delimiter separator here. Other, I can use something known as explode. What is explode going to do? I can use explode, so it will bifurcate them into different sections. Okay, so suppose there is entry one. Okay, let's take entry one. Movie name is Tare Zameen Pe. Okay, duration and everything is mentioned, and the title is, sorry, the genre is, suppose comedy, self help, or some. There are two genres. Let's say comedy and self help. Okay, now what is happening if I use explode? This would be bifurcated into two sections. Both of them are going to have the same index, zero index, Tare Zameen Pe, and in the genre it will write comedy. Next line, again index, again zero, Tare Zameen Pe, genre would be only self-help. So this line has been bifurcated into, suppose the genre, there are two genre, it would be bifurcated into two parts. Suppose there the genres are three, it will be bifurcated through three different lines. That is what happens in explode. And once it happens over that, I can use value count over that column. It will cumulatively tell me how many columns there are. I'll talk about once I do the coding portion of it. This is what I'm going to do. Let's see how am I going to do that. First of all, let's use the splitting. So I will write genres and I will take Netflix DF. And in this, what I'll use is I will use something known as assign dot assign. I will talk about what it does. In the assign, I will use genre is equal to, what is this? Netflix DF of listed in. Okay, and then what I want is dot str dot split. It will split them on the basis of what? If I check the genres, there is, it is separated by space and sometimes zero, or rather a space, a comma, and then a space, a comma and then a space, and you can check that in a much more closer manner because I did check that. So I'll use this and this. Now this is going to do that, and then I will use dot explode. What is this explode function going to do? I just talked about. And then I will write genre. Okay. What is this going to do? Let's talk about, and I'll show you. This is something how it is going to happen. So for zero, the genres were what? International TV shows, TV drama. I have taken a new column, and that I will take the genre as international TV show. This is again zeroth index. How many entries there were? One, there was two, there was three, and there were more. So it has been bifurcated first into TV shows. Again, zero to be having TV dramas. Again, the same index to having TV, sci-fi and fantasy. This is a totally different genre. Next, again, the first entry is for, so there are drama, international movie, two sections. It will be bifurcated into two parts, one and one, right? And one is containing dramas, one is containing international movies. So I splitted them. I used dot explode function and I used assign, so it will assign those values for me. All right. So genre is done. Now I need to find the top 15 ones. Okay, I need to just find out the top 15 out of these. How will I do that? I will write I'll take a new entry, that is top genres count. And how will I do that is I will write something known as genres to the above column, and in that I will use genre, because in the above column there is a new column that is added under the section known as genre, and for that I will use value count. It will count the number of values for each and every individual things, like for how many there are for TV shows, how many for drama, how many for international like things like these, right? And then I will use something known as reset index. What it does is, initially if I talk about uh, the index, suppose the first movie for international genre was found in the index 712, so it will write 712 international movie and then the count. Then suppose the first entry for dramas was found in 112. 112 is the index. So it will write 112 drama and then the number of count. If I use reset index, it will give the parameter 0, 1, 2, 3 in that format manner. Okay. Then what I'll use is I will again call top genres count, and then I will use dot columns. Dot columns is going to provide me the columns, and then I will write something like this. First column that I want is genre, and the next I want is count. I'm naming them. Okay. So this is something but I'm just renaming them. Through this, I will get two different columns. Okay. So if I run this, I'll show you first so that it is much more clearer on your portion. I'm getting values like this. Okay. Reset index is resetting the index. So I'm getting genre, I'm getting count. Okay. And I am just running for the column name. So I can just call them these. Okay. That is what is happening. This is done. So now I have two different genre. Think one is genre and the individual count. What was the question? What was the question? What are the most popular genres? Okay. So you can talk about how many popular genres are. Let's focus on top 15. I can find top 15. Again, if I talk about this, and let's take a new column, top 15 genre, and this I can use this variable dot head of 15, so it will take the first 15 values, as simple as that. And then let's run that also. Let's see what are the top 15 values we are getting. So this is the top 15 international movie with discount, drama with discount, and things like these. Let's plot chart for that. Again, I will use plt.figure. I will just copy the entire thing, print the chart, right? So the charts are done. I will run that. Okay, top genres is not defined. I have to run that column, and now it is going to create something like that. Top genre count plot is not defined. Okay, I forgot to rename this. Now it should run. This is the top 15 genres that I have on Netflix. First is the international movies, then is dramas, then is comedies, then is international TV show, documentary, action, TV drama, and towards the end we have TV kid shows and docu series. I don't know how to pronounce that. Okay. Majorly, maximum is international movies and then is dramas. Clear? Again, an insight. What is the insight that you're going to put? I will just copy the insights and I will run this. So, international movie is the most common genre, highlighting Netflix global content strategy, then is followed by dramas, then is followed by comedies, action, and adventure. Clear? Is it clear up till this point? Again, I will open up the chats. Are you able to understand what is happening today? Is it better today? Let me scroll down towards the end. Yes. Okay. Perfect then. Mhm. If the genre is a mix of separators like comma, then you'll have to use str.split dot comma, one for comma, one for dot, one for colon, Gaurav. Then you'll have to perform dot str dot replace, things like these, a lot of time. Where do I submit? I will talk about submission. It's engaging, perfect. Feel confident, good. Director are both categorical. Okay, sorry, there's a lot of questions, so let's discuss that towards the end. No question is garbage question, first of all. Okay. Is it a good practice to use explode in the main data set? No, I have not applied that to the main data set. I've just taken a new data frame in that I am copying that, and then I'm doing that. It's not a good practice to use explode in the original data set. No, you can take a copy and then you can do that. Okay. Someone is asking what is the prerequisites. I think it's a little late to ask the prerequisites. Mm-hmm. How do I decide which plot to use? Again, we talked about which kind of plots we should use in yesterday's class for the people who are asking. Okay. How to remember syntax or just understanding is enough. See, understanding syntax, what is happening is, even I am working in this industry for a lot of time, but still I do refer for syntax and things. You don't need to remember the syntax, but yeah, once you keep on working on a lot of things, you already start to get the hang of it. You remember the syntax, you remember certain syntax, but don't worry about that. There's no such thing that you need to hardcore and remember the syntax. No such thing. At the end of the day, you should know what is happening. Okay. What is reset index? It will just reset the index. Suppose you have index like 713 914 793. Why are these index? Because at this point was the first time this value was found. That is the reason. Okay. So reset index will write 0 1 2 3. Index will start from 0. Which graph was the last one? Last was the line graph. Okay, let's go. Yes, syntax is hard to remember. The concepts is much more clear. Okay, that should be the case. You should remember the concepts. That's it. Okay, let's move on. So I have talked about the international questions. What is the next question that we have to discuss? This is the next question. And when I'm posing a question, no, just think of ways to solve this. What is the distribution of content duration? Okay. Now I need to talk about content duration, and in this I have to do a lot of changes. Okay. First of all, where I'm going to find the content duration? I am going to find the content duration in duration minutes. DF, or rather Netflix DF dot columns. Let's see what are the columns. These are the columns, and in which column am I going to find the duration? No, this is not going to help. Let's check with the head of four values. Okay. I am going to find the duration in which column? Which column am I going to find the duration? Yeah, this is the column duration. But I need to work on these things. Four season, and then you have minutes as well. So you have minutes. I don't want minutes. I want a numerical value, right? I'm going to fix all these things first. Okay. So let's do one thing. Distribution of content. There are two kind of content. One is movies and one is TV shows. So let's do a copy for movies. Let's take movie in a different place and TV shows in a different place. Let's bifurcate only for movies. Let's bifurcate only for TV shows. Let's work on the content duration of movies itself. Let's work on the content duration of TV shows itself. Someone just posed a core emoji of food. Okay, so I understand you're going to eat your food, but yeah, consider it on the class as well. Okay. Next. So let's work on that. What is the distribution of content duration? What I'll do is, first of all, I will bifurcate this into two parts. One is for movies. So I will write movies df is equal to what? Netflix df of, I will write type is equal and equal to what? Movies, movies. Now these are going to be for movies, and if I write something like this, Netflix df, and then over this, and then I write dot copy, what is going to happen? So what I'm doing is, suppose I want to write, I will explain this portion. If I write Netflix of df and type is equal and equal to movies, if I write something like this and I run this, now I'm going to get only type is equal to movie true and false. But if I want to check for the entire data set, then I'll write to write df, and I will use colons for this entire thing. I will in place all of this inside Netflix DF. Now it will filter out that for me wherever the places you have uh, the thing as movies. It's not movies, it is movie. And the same case here. So it will tell me all the movie wherever the type is movie. Right? You can see that in this the type is movie. All the entries for movie are present now. Clear? So this is how what I'm doing. Let's remove this. What I'm doing is I'm taking movie. I'm creating a dot copy. It will create a new copy, and that copy is saved in a new variable that is movie df. Similarly, I'm going to use for TV show df. I will write the same thing. I will just change type from here movie to TV show. I will just copy paste that movie to TV show. If I run this, now what is happening is if I run TV show, I'll show you one value. Now this entire data frame is just for TV shows. Okay, I can work my way to fix the question. What is the distribution of the content duration? Next, let's work on cleaning the data frame. Okay, so what I need to work on is I need to work on cleaning and converting the duration for movies. Okay, what is happening in movies? You can see that in movies you have 93 minute, this minute. In TV show you had this season, 5 season, 4 season, things like these. Movies you had 83 minutes, 83 space minutes, 84 space minute. Some place it is written MIN, some place it is written no. I guess for every place it is written MIN. Okay. So I need to work on removing that. How will I do that? I will add movies df of duration minutes. There was the column duration minutes. Movie df of duration minutes is equal to, I will clean that. So movie df of duration minutes dot str. This is your string operation. And I will use something known as replace. Str dot replace. So this will replace the altogether values. What I want to replace? Space minute. Okay, why space minute? Because it is represented in that format. Where is it? This space minute. Okay, so I'm writing space minute, and I am replacing that with, so this is the value that I am replacing, and I'm replacing that with nothing. So all the values removed. And then what I'm doing is I'm writing as type of int. So this will convert the text value, sorry, the numerical value to integer type. So 93 it would be converted to an integer. Yeah. And similarly, I can work on TV shows. I can write that similar thing for TV shows. I'll just copy paste that, and I will tell you what is happening here. So I'm writing TV show. Okay. I'm writing TV show seasons. What is this TV show? There is a separate section for seasons here. So in the seasons, I'm taking a new column as season. I'm writing duration and I'm replacing season with empty. Again, I'm replacing season with empty. Why? Because some place it is written seasons, some place it is written season. So I need to work on both of that, and I just need to remove that. Then next, once it is done, let's run this. I'm getting an error. Duration minutes. Where is the error? Duration minute. Duration minute. 1 second. Let me repaste that. Is it still giving? Yeah. Could have done some place. I have written duration minutes at both the points. Okay. No worries. Now let's run this dot head of. Let's take 4 values. Okay, I'll show you what has happened now. So I did something in this. Now it, instead of 93 minutes, it is 93. Instead of 78 minutes, it is 78. Right? It is in this format now. If you want, you can delete this, drop this duration column altogether. Okay. How will you drop that? You can drop it like this: df or sorry, what movie df of what duration? Sorry, of duration dot drop. dot drop, just simply write dot drop in front of it. Okay, and you can remove this entire thing. Okay, so I can drop this column, rest it is okay. Let's check for TV shows as well. So for TV shows, I have, there was something known as seasons. I have added a new column as seasons. So instead of 4 seasons, it is four. One season, it is one. One season, it is one. Okay. Now I have done this thing. Next, I need to work on the graphing the charting plot. I need to fix that. One second. Yeah. So I will plot the distribution for that. I have mostly done that thing. So I will just copy paste this and I will show you now. I'm plotting, I am using subplot. Why? Because one is for movies, one is for TV shows. I'm using subplot. Again, 1 comma 2, that means one row, two columns. Okay. Then I have taken the first axis equal to 0. Why? Because I'm using hist plot. Axis 0 means at the first place is this, second place is this. I'm using the data as movies df. The x is the duration in minutes. Bins are 50. I'm taking 50 bins. KD is equal to true, so it will create being a smooth and plot. Color is this, and then the title is this. Similarly, TV shows, it should be TV shows. TV show. Okay. So TV show. Okay. So I'm taking the data frame as this. Palette is rocket. What is rocket? Rocket is just a color pattern. Order is equal odd. What is order? So it will order them in the format of value count dot index. So first value first, then the second value, then the third value. Legend is false, and I've set the parameters as true. If I run this, I'm going to get something like this. Okay. What is this? Duration in minutes. If I talk about for, this is for what? One is for movies, one is for TV shows. Movie, I can see that the duration is basically ranging from 50 to 150 is the peak, I can say. Bulky, it's around 70 to 120 around. No, 140. 70 to 140, I can say. That is where the peak is happening. Okay. In the seasons, I can see only the majorly we have first season and then the things are low. So basically, the people, so basically, the series that are like performing well, only those are being taken consideration. Otherwise, the series is being dropped. Clear? So I will write the insights now. What is the insights that we found out from this? Let me write the insights. Where is the insights? These are the insights. Majorly, it is ranging between 80 to 120 minutes. Yes, so around 80 to 120 minutes is the peak for movies. And okay, the major TV shows on Netflix are short-lived, only one season. This could reflect the producing many pilots, and only successful ones get continued in the next further seasons. Clear? I hope it's clear up to this point. Yes. Okay. Okay. Big thumbs up. Got it. Next is the question which we need to work on. What is the question? So how many questions do I have left? Let's see that. This is the question. Think of the approach. 1 second. I have, okay, I have one more question after this, and then we'll be majorly done with the portions. Then we'll talk about different things. Okay. So I have one more thing after this, and then we'll work on that. So what are the where is the content coming from? Now here I need to talk about country. Okay. So which country is producing the largest amount of content? If you remember, we used value count, and with that, I filled with the mode value. So if you remember the mode value, it was United Kingdom, United States. Yeah, it was United States. So majorly the value is from United States. Spoiler. Okay, but still, let's check for the other industry, other countries as well. Is India in part of one of them or not? Okay, let's see. So what I'm going to do use is I am going to create a new column as first of all. Let's check countries. Netflix DF country. Yeah, let's see country. Okay. So you can see that some countries, what is happening is there is comma separated because uh, certain series. Suppose there's a series like I don't know if it's correct or not because I've not watched the series, so don't judge me on that. Suppose there's a series known as Lucifer. Okay, I'm sure you watched Lucifer. So suppose there's a series Lucifer, and that series is first made in UK, then it is also made in China, then it is made in India as well. Some portion of it is being shoot at that point. So it is comma separated. So India, China, UK, everything is mentioned in the comma separated. That is what is happening in this data set. I am assuming as much. Okay. So I need to work on this. This is again going to pose a problem for me. How do I solve this? I am going to split them. I am going to use explode. Okay. Again, using explode will take them to different columns. Once I have them in different columns, I can use value count, and with that I can get which country is having the highest. Yeah. That is the idea and the methodology that I'm going to go with. Let's work on that. What I'm going to do is I am going to take countries. I'll take a new variable, and in this what I'll use is df, rather Netflix df, and I will use dot assign. Again, I'm assigning what I'm assigning. You'll see country is equal to Netflix. Netflix. What is this? No, I will write Netflix df of country. Netflix df of country, and then further what I'm using is after assign. No, within assign. I need to work on what I need to split them on the basis of spaces, comma, sorry, after comma. So there are comma separated, comma, and then a space. So I need to separate that on the basis of this separation. I'll get that in the next line using explode, and then I can just use value count. So this dot str dot split, I will split them on the basis of what, comma, and space. Why? Comma and space. And then after this, I will use dot explode, and in the explode I will use country, country. On the basis of country it is going to explode. I hope I have not written anything wrong. Yes, works perfectly. So this is something that is happening. I have countries. I have countries. So you can see that countries Brazil, Mexico, Singapore, and for this is okay, everything is okay. Majorly, suppose in case there are certain places where they have different countries, it is just taking in different places, so it is giving same in sorry, this indexes. Right now I'm not being visible about that, no worries. Next, I have all the countries. The major portion that you need to take care of is that in the country I have individual entries now. Okay, now I can get the top 50. Top 15, let's take again top 15. So top 15 countries, countries, and that again I need to take, I will call countries, the value, the this one, this data frame, and then I will use what, countries, country. So this will give me these values, countries, country. This will give me this value, and then what I want is I want to use dot value count. Value counts. It will give me the value counts. It will just count number of values and reset index. Why? Because again, I just talked about that. Then I will use top 15 countries dot columns, and I will rename them just. Columns is equal to what? country, country, comma, count. Simple. Now let's run that and I will show you how it looks like. This is how it looks like. For each country, you have the count. Now we're done with that. I need to work on the plotting aspect of it. I only want 15 entries. So I will not write the code for plot now. I just took the top 15 headers. Okay, top 15, top country, counter plot. Okay, and I will run that. So what I did was I again use the same things. I use figure plot, dot head 15, so it will take first 15 values. I am using X count, I'm using data, I'm using palette, I'm using legend, and everything. So I have top 15 countries. UK, United States is at the top, then is India, then is UK, Canada, France, Japan, Spain, and everything. Lowest is Hong Kong. At least India stands at the second point, right? Next, I will again copy paste the insights for you. What are the insights that we need to work on? Let's write the insights. So the US is by far the largest producer. That is true. India is second, okay, which explains why top actors were from India. If you check top actors, you'll find India is at the top. UK, Japan, South Korea are the major hub for platform. Okay, so US is at the top, and then is India and everything. Okay. Finally, the last question that we need to work on is what is the maturity rating of the content? So, like, what is the yes, India, everyone is everyone is right. India reached at some point. Now, so what I was talking about is next question is the maturity rating. Here I need to check the graph for the maturity rating. So is it PG rated? Is it R rated? Is it any like what is the rating? Is it for adult or things like that? So that I can get an idea what kind of content is uploaded in Netflix. Right? How will I solve that? Think about that. This is comparatively a very simple question. Think about that and write in the chats. Let's write in the chats. Okay. Taking a water break for 1 minute. Write in the chats how should I solve this question. Yes, chats is enabled. Get value count. Then bar plot, bar chart. Very simple. Yes, frequency chart, pie chart, everything works. You can use a part pie chart. You can use a bar chart. So you can use a pie chart. You can use a bar chart. You can use anything basically because this is a categorical data set, right? So you have categories like PG-13 or PG-12. I don't know if that's a rating. These are the ratings. I can use that rating and I can just create that. Simple. Let's work on that now. I'll disable the chats. How will I do that? What is the maturity rating? How will I use that? So I will write build. I don't need to write that. I will just copy paste this because this is a very simple question. So do I have one more question after that? I don't. Okay. So what is the maturity rating in this content? You have PLT figure size. You have I'm using a count plot. Okay, it's very similar to what you have as a bar plot. It's a very similar thing as bar chart. Data is Netflix. Order is again rating, value count, indexes. So whatever index is at the top, it will print that. Someone was writing, what is this? This what am I doing this? So I will run this code individually and I'll show you. This is the at the top. TVMA is at the top for the maximum value count. Then is this. Then is this. If I'm using dot index, then it will just pick out the indexes. If I use dot value count, it will find me the value counts. But these are the indexes. So if I write dot index, it will just provide me these values. Yeah. Okay. So again, what is happening is I'm using count plot. I'm using order is equal to this. So this will give me the order. Then palace is crust. What is this? Hue is the cane. Legend is everything. Let's run that, and you will see that this is the distribution. So TVMA is at the top, and I will again. compose the insights. So the insight is a large portion of the Netflix content is aimed at mature audience. That is, MA is mature audience. TV MA is mature audience. TV 14 is parents strongly cautioned. TV PG is for like PG. I don't know. R is again R-rated movies, so it's for adults. PG 13. I don't know. TVY and I don't know. I don't know exactly these what do you call these, the ratings, right? So majorly I know one or two things, that tvma is for mature audience, tv 14 is for uh, parents are strictly cautioned, right? So I understand that a lot of content is from adult point of view, right? So there is very less content on uh, netflix which is for children's, right? Perfect. Clear till this point? This was a simpler question that I added towards it because you can solve that. Yes? Okay. So with this, I have explored the data set ample. Next, I need to work on feature engineering. Okay. So I'm going to create something, some new features which are going to help me enhance the data set quality and all. What am I going to do? I'm going to run this. I'm going to talk about feature engineering, that is content freshness. I'll create a new feature to analyze how old content is when it gets to Netflix. Suppose there's a movie as Godfather. Right? Godfather is written supposedly, I don't remember it, 1990 or something like that. And in 2020, it was uploaded into Netflix. So I just want to know how, what is the acquisition strategy? Like, are they buying the old movies, or are they buying, are they releasing new originals, that is Netflix originals, or are they buying the original old movies? What is the strategy that it is using? Okay, how can I do that? I will first create something. How will I check this? So I'll create a new column first of all, that is Netflix df, and I will use something as age on Netflix. Age on Netflix, I'm creating a new column. And in this, what I'm going to use is, I'm going to write Netflix data frame, and in that I'm going to use year added. Okay. And the year added, what I want is, I want to remove year added with release year. I'll tell you why. With released year. Why so? If I talk about year, so year added is suppose 2006, and what year was it released? It was released in 1990s. Okay, 1990, and now 2020 it is added. How many years? 30 years. So that is the age for that movie. 30 years, after 30 years it has been added. So I want to see if there are more older movies which have been recently adopted, or are there new originals that they are working on. So with this, I get something known as Netflix DF. Let's check what is happening. Dot head of two. Let's see. So a new column is added with the name as age on Netflix. So age is zero, age is zero. Why? Because the release year is 2020 and the year added is also 2020. So this is a Netflix original movie. Right? This is what I'm trying to explore here. Let's see. Next, I want to check the content age. How will I check the content age? I have to bifurcate them into column, into like category. Okay, what I want to do is content age. I'm creating a new variable, and in that I'm writing Netflix df for age on Netflix. It should be greater than zero. I don't want the places greater than equal to zero. I want, I don't want negative ages. There are going to be negative ages. Okay. And then I can write Netflix DF. So I want to, from this original, I just want to filter out where the age is greater than or equal to zero. Clear? And once I've done that, I can just create a simple plotting, that is plt.figure. I'll use a figure size. I will use a hist plot. Hist plot, I'm taking the content age as the data. The X label is age on this. Bins are 50, KD is 50, and then just run this. So I can see that it has spiked a lot at zero. It had spiked a lot at zero, right? And then it is decreasing. What does it mean when I say it has spiked at zero? Now tell me the answer for this question. Are they? I've opened the chats. Is Netflix focusing on Netflix originals, or is it trying to work on acquiring the old ones? Which one? More are new? Originals? Yes. Netflix is trying to go for Netflix originals, at least for this data points. Yes. So that is something that I just thought that okay, I can use originals. I can just check that what year was it, right? That is what this is happening. What does MSE mean square error? We'll talk about that in tomorrow's class when we are talking about linear regression and things like these. Disabling the chats. So Netflix is focusing on originals. Let's write the summary for that. Let's write the insights for that. So what is the insight I'm getting? I'm getting an insight that there's a huge spike for the significant amount of content added. It released that it's working on Netflix originals, and there's a long tail showing that Netflix is heavily investing on acquired licensed content. You can see that the tail is going on for a long time, very long. So there are movies like this for which Netflix has like one or two movies, I'll say, but yeah, where the age is more than 80. More than 80, that means a movie which is old, they have acquired that. They are acquiring. They're working on Netflix originals, sure, but they're also working on acquiring good movies that are aged. Clear? That is the analysis that we found. Okay, perfect. Next, we need to work on finally, that is, I want to work on deeper multivariate analysis. What is this? I will talk about. Here I need to work on I want to find the I want to find out relevant columns in which I want to find the outliers and things like these. That is what I'm trying to do. So what I'll do is I'll analyze the duration across different genres. So I want to analyze movie duration across different top genres. First, let me write the code, explain that, and then you will get that more clearer. So I'm taking top genres, and in that what I'm taking is I have already created genres above. In that I will take genre, okay, and further what I'm doing is I'm using value count, okay. One more thing, as we are approaching towards the end of the session, if you have any questions, just write one two in your notebooks. You can just write questions like 1 2 3 4, and towards the end I will give you 5 or 6 minutes. So in case you have any questions, just drop that, and I will try to solve as many questions as that, just in single chat. 1 2 3 4 5, question 1, question 2, question 3, question 5. Okay, so I'm taking the value counts, and what I'm doing is further I will take dot index. I'm taking the index, but for what? This is known as slicing. So I'm slicing for the first five values. I'm doing this for the first five values. I'm using value count, and I'm taking the value count of the first five values. That is what I'm doing. So start from the start, go till five. This is slicing. I'm not going to talk much about slicing. So I'm taking genre movies, and in this I am talking about genres, and in this I am taking I'm taking I'm taking two things, that is genres. This is genres of type. What is genre? I'm sure you remember. If you don't, genres dot head, was it a data frame or not? Yes, that was a data frame. This was genre, right? In which I added a genre column towards the end. This is not the original data set. I just copied that to a new one so that I can find out different genres. So in that, I'm taking the type. Where is type? This is the type I'm taking, right? And in this type, I'm saying that hmm, if this type of genre is equal and equal to movies, MOVIE, if this is equal to movie, I'm adding another clause that the genres, what genre? I'm talking about genre. Uh, dot is in. What is in does is in checks that is it in that or not. What I'm going to do is it in top genres? So I created top genres column, right? If it is in top genre, this is the top genre. If it is in top five column and it is a movie, then uh, segregate that and take that into genre movies, and I will create a copy for that. What I've done, what I've done is I will copy this and I will paste this. Okay, I will run this piece of code. So under genre movies, what I've done is I have filtered out for movies, and I have created for where the genre is top five. The top five genres were drama, international movies, and things like these. So I filtered that out first. Okay. Next, what is the next step? What am I doing that? I'll let you know. It would be much more clear in the next steps. Then I am taking some new column which has genre movies. Sorry, the same column, genres movies, and in that I'm taking the duration column. So I have a duration column. Where is it? I am taking the duration column. Where is the duration? This is the duration. So I'm taking a movie's duration in minutes. Again, I'm trying to clean that out. Okay, and in that I'm taking genre movies duration. I'm creating a new column for that. Duration dot str dot replace with what, space minute with empty. Okay, and then I am converting the type dot as type to integer as well. Clear? Okay, so I segmented that out as well. Now I'm going to create the visuals, and I'm using something known as box plot. What was box plot? I'm sure you remember from yesterday's session. These are the box plot that are created. Okay, and I'll take the insights as well so that you're more clear on what I have extracted from this. Okay, so what is the insight? This is the entire box plot for the top five for dramas, international movie, documentary, comedy. One more. Is it for four only? Okay, I've taken first four. Right, so it is talking about the insight that the median is between 90 to 100. You can see that this is the median line, so it was between 100, 100 and 90. It is between 90 to 100 majorly, and 90 to 100 minutes. And we see interesting variation with dramas have a longer range. So you have dramas which are lower than 50 minutes as well. You have dramas which are reaching above 200 as well. Similarly, for international movies, you have short movies as well. You have long movies as well, very long movies as well. For documentaries, you have short documentaries. You have few long documentaries. For comedies, you have short comedies. You have some big comedies as well. So this is just a much more enhanced analysis that drama tend to have a wider duration. You can see that drama and this international movie is having these kind of filters. Otherwise, which that suggests that it has long movies. International movies show that it has a broader distribution, reflecting different style making in the entire world. Clear? Yes. Finally, we are moving towards the end, in which we are going to talk about. I'm going to tell you a better or a way of a good thing that good chart. Okay. This is known as word cloud. Okay. As a final visual analysis, let's generate a word cloud for the description column. You'll see what themes there are and what is the most common content column. So what I'm doing is, if you remember Netflix DF dot head of two, suppose you remember this column that we had, description. So in the description column, what I'm trying to do is, my option is, what I'll do is, in the description I have a lot of description. My task is I will join all the description in a single column. Okay, in a single variable I will join all the content, all the description that is written. Suppose it is written this is a good movie, in a different it is written it is a great movie. I will combine them. It is a great movie, it is a good movie. I've just combined all the description, and from that entire one text I will try to extract which words are occurring the highest, so that I can get a general idea of what is happening. Okay, and that is where word cloud comes into the picture. Let's see what is happening. Okay, so what I'll use is I will write text, and in this I will use colon. Okay, using spaces I'm going to join them, and I will join them on the basis of Netflix TF and description. Okay, what am I doing is I am joining Netflix TF on the basis of description, so the description column, and then I'm joining them in the text. Let's run text. It is to see what is happening. So the first text is in the future where the elite inhabitants an island. In the future, the elites inhabited an island. And then what is the next statement? After devastating earthquake. After devastating earthquake. So it has just added them with the space. That is what I'm doing for all the things. So it is a very long. It is just showing you some values. You can see that all the values are represented now. This is what is happening. So I stored all that in a single text. Why am I doing that? I will create a word cloud image. How will that look like? So I will write something known as word cloud, and in that I will call word cloud. We have already imported word cloud above, and in that I have to define the width to be 800, right? And height to be 400, and background, what background color is equal to black, so that we can see that in a much more better manner. And dot generate, right? In the generate, what it wants to generate on the basis of text, it should generate. Okay, and then again I will display that using certain things like plt.figure and things like that. Plt figure, fig plot. I am show you use I am show here. And what is interpolation? Basically bilinear. I'll show that with the visualization. Axis is off and all these things. This is how this looks like. Okay, so I will zoom it out once. Now you can read that in a much more better manner. So what are the words that you see? Right, everyone is exclaimed like wow, wow, what is happening? So you can see words like love, you can see words like life, you can see like new, you can see find, you can see world, friend, take, young, murder, right? So it's like those kind of things. That what is the, you have seen those Instagram posts, right? You have a post in which a lot of letters are written, and then you see whatever the first word that you see is how your new year is going to look like. Kind of similar to like this, but it's just that here it is going to be in a much more elaborated manner. So the more entries they have for a certain thing, that would be enlarged, right? That is what the entire content description looks like. Now I will write what is the insight that I found out. What is the insight that, okay, this is the insight that I found. That the word highlights like life, family, love, friends, young, world, prominent suggests that these are the content that it resolves around. Action words like find, secret, new also appear frequently. Okay. Now I will jot down the final conclusions for today. What we did as the final conclusions. This is the final conclusion that the content strategy. Okay, I added one more thing that was not supposed to be added. So I just found out that common strategy. So Netflix is around 70%. Netflix library is around 70% movies. What else? US is the global dominator. What else? The target audience is TV, MA, TV 14. What else? There is drama and comedies are usually the most popular genres. Movies around 90 to 120 minutes as present. What else? What is the common theme? The common theme revolves around life, family, discovery, right? What is the limitation? This data set is a snapshot of time. It lacks viewership data, so it does not have the viewership data, like how many people watch this movie, and demand also is not present, like which kind of TV, which show has a higher demand, like how many people are watching, what is the popularity. So limited data set, we can work on limited findings. And now what I will do is I will tell you what you have to submit. Okay, so this is how you are going to submit the things. This is what you are going to submit the things on. One more question that I did not add, but I will add now, that you can solve. These are the questions that you have to solve. Okay, so what is the top director and things like these. There are 5 questions. So in today's submission, what you have to do is you have to solve these 5 questions, and once you solve those 5 questions, you can have other data above as well, because this would be added towards the end itself. Okay, just be clear on that, that this is added to towards the end, and towards the end I will check these first 5 questions that are the submitted. Question one, so in you can write that using heading one. Heading one, submission question one, this is the question. Solution, in a single block, just write the solution. Okay, question two, solution. Question three, solution. Similarly, in this format, just write the first 5 questions. Clear? So submission criteria is clear, and this is how you can explore today's data set. I hope the class was clear today. Now I will give you 5 to 6 minutes to ask your questions. If you have any questions, just write. Otherwise, yeah. With value count output, how can we get the specific referred cell entries? Okay, I will show the questions again. It would be added in the. Okay, one more thing, 1 second. I will show you which place I was looking at. This is where the questions are added. Okay, this is the entire notebook. Again, I will add this notebook right now. These are the questions. It would be added in that. Again, towards the end of the content that I'm going to. 1 second. Wait 1 second. I'll tell you what how you have to submit. So I will upload the notebook. Where will the notebook look? Where will you find the notebook? If you go to the your chapter section, if you go to your batch page, under the live section, you will see that right now the class is going on. After 1 or 2 hours, it would be added here. After that is added under resources. If you click on under resources, the notebook would be added here. Just click on download here, and the entire notebook would be downloaded. Now, if I show you, this is how the notebook would look like. So it is very well oriented, and it is very well documented. And towards the end, if you scroll down, you will see the submission questions. I have not added another question. One more question I will add here. So yeah, there are just 5 questions. What you have to submit is you can submit me a collab notebook. So just work that once the notebook is done, you just click on this. You click on what you click on. I have just gave out the IDs 1 second. So you can click on this. You can click on restriction is anyone with the link, and that's an editor for you. Right? Just change that. That's an editor for you. Just upload it in this kind of format. Right? And just copy the link and just submit the link in the form. Where will you find the form? Single similar question that is happening is go to this page, go to the notice board. You will see this is where the form link is. This is a hyperlink. If you click on this, you will be redirected to a page like this. Scroll down, give all your entries, select which today is the date. You can submit either your GitHub repo, you can submit me the collab notebook link, anything works. Okay. What else are the questions? Yes, you just have to do these 5 questions. 1 second, I am just reading that. Can you unmute, sir? No, I cannot unmute you. Sorry, guys. Do we have to write insights as well? Submission I explained. Do you have to write insights? It's good, always a good practice to write insights. Cloning, how do you write clone? So you write first colon, then you write git, then you write clone, and then what is the repository link? That's it. It will clone up the entire repository. From why profiling, the line is raising an error. Please help me, sir. Just fix that error, okay? So, Argapreet, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name correct. If you are having certain problems, I cannot help you with all the problems. Here, you have to work on researching certain portions. So go to ChatGPT, go to LLM models, and research over that. Okay. When we upload sample HTML, there, but this link forward to HTML not output. Is it okay to upload that? Yes, absolutely okay. You can upload that on your GitHub, and then you can submit me that link. I haven't studied this before. What should I do? Don't worry if you have not studied that. Uh, matlab, in YouTube, you can check how to work on pandas. Rest, you can read the documentation. Otherwise, I try to take the class as slow as possible today. We have to code and check. Okay. I'm reading through the questions. I have 300 chats. 1 second. Don't worry. That's absolutely work. Mayank, that's okay. I'm reading through the questions. Can you explain yesterday's task? Yesterday's task was just to do Y profiling and just submit me the Y profiling HTML file. Again, in the code, I changed to sample so that you can just change that on your own. How to decide which strategy to use impute data? Uh, Basically, imputing the data you can do in many formats. It's imputing the data. I'm assuming that you want to impute the data from some place to this. So it's good to use collab. If you're using collab notebook, you can directly clone the repository if it's possible. If not, then you can directly download the data set and paste that. That's absolutely okay. Do we want a new collab notebook for the questions, or should we continue that in the one? No, take a new notebook. Take a new notebook. And I don't think I need to talk about this, but every notebook that I'm uploading, try to just read through that and don't run that certain code and just submit. No, that's not going to be a good practice for you. Just understand whatever I'm doing in everyday class, try to run that on your own. That is what you're trying to do. Attendance, don't worry. You attended the entire class, still did not get the attendance. No worries. It would be updated towards the end. Absolutely don't worry about that attendance portion. Okay. There are a lot of questions. I'm trying to answer as many as possible. I have 630 messages now. Let me go down. Can I upload all the projects at once? Yes, you can upload that. What does business analyst expect from what questions they ask? They want the solutions, they want the chart, kind of chart and graphs. So if they have those charts and graphs, they are going to go to the management and they're going to say that this is the answer that I'm getting. Now you can take a business decision on the basis of that. Can I upload all the project in LinkedIn? Uh, can all projects upload in LinkedIn? Okay, yeah. So some of the people were asking for my LinkedIn. I am sure that some of you already have my LinkedIn because they have started posting about that. But still, what I'll do is I will give you my LinkedIn. So if you want, you can connect with me there. No pressure. Once again, I will disable the chat for 1 minute. I will drop my LinkedIn ID. Okay. Why do you want to unmute me? Why do you want me to unmute? Right. See, unmuting is going to be problematic. Why? Because many a times what is happening is there could be a voice lag, and that happened in Zoom because of the large size. Okay. I will try to read through the questions. Upload the project. Yes, you can upload the project on LinkedIn, but just post whatever analysis that you did. Suppose you talked about EDA, so this was the analysis, not the entire project. Fresh notebook. Yes, take a fresh notebook. Okay. So upload the files. Link should be submitted. Okay. Clear. So majorly that is going to be all for today's session. Again, I will just post my LinkedIn ID, and that would be all for today's session. In case you have any other doubts, taking 2 more minutes for the doubts. Okay, the problems on how to approach this clear, but the joints like explode, copy registration. Yes, that requires more hands-on. And I hope that it was clear today, right? I hope the session was more clearer today. Yes, yes, okay, it was more clear. I have submitted everyone link. Is it okay? Yeah, that's okay. Viewer link is also okay. I don't need the editor link. I just need the viewer link. I should be able to view the things. Okay. Clear, clear, clear. Perfect. Okay, then that's it for today's session. Thank you, everyone. And I know you have a lot of questions. I cannot answer all the questions, but we can talk about these questions in further classes if I have certain time. Okay, so upload that. You can upload. Yes, you can upload that on your GitHub and then submit with the link. That's absolutely okay. I've just answered that 5 to 6 times, and I'll try. Tomorrow's project is going to be a little more heavy, so we're going to work on machine learning. Right, we're going to talk about machine learning, and tomorrow is going to be Kaggle's project. So bring your Kaggle link. Okay, have an idea on Kaggle. If you don't, create an ID today, because tomorrow is something that we're going to work on. Okay, thank you, everyone. I know it's late. Have your food. Good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.